Hi, I'm Cat Navarro-Lee, and I'm here at the 2026 Dances with Films. And I am here with Arman and Quinn, who are the director and producer of the short Breathe, Brother, Breathe. Congratulations for being in this festival.
Thank you.
Now, I'd love to just get a little synopsis, elevator pitch of your short.
So, Breathe, Brother, Breathe is a story about an asthmatic Iranian American high schooler, and we're sort of following him at a transitional point in his life where he's just begun high school, and at the same time, his grandfather is very ill. And we see how his journey of learning how to play the trumpet serves as both a way for him to sort of express some emotions that he can't say to the people in his life, as well as like sort of take control of the one thing that he can take control in his life when he feels like very powerless, which is like how kids in high school feel all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything, Quinn?
No, this was a very passionate project that was made at USC that we both attended, and it was very personal to Arman. So
You met in school.
we met at school, yeah, and you were very much you were nervous to tell the story, I think.
Is it a
'cause
very
was so
personal
close.
story? What inspired you to tell this story?
So it originally started with sort of this. It's a dramatic story, but also it has a lot of sort of comedic elements. Like, for example, like in the film, we're following a kid that isn't a musical prodigy. We're following a kid who is learning how to play a very loud instrument for the very first time. And when you're learning how to play the trumpet, you're going to be bad and you can't be very quiet about it. So the original seed of the idea was in this sort of comedic premise. But I think that, as we were sort of developing the script, we also felt that that alone would be very interesting to be paired with this sort of personal story that I had as an Iranian American, sort of feeling like that I was in between two worlds, and sort of pairing together the sort of in between of sort of learning an instrument and being very, not being good as quickly as you would hope, with sort of feeling like you don't belong, and then also being like at a point in your life where, you know, you don't know who you are, you feel like nobody gets you, and sort of putting all those things together, we felt was the story that we wanted to tell. Yeah.
Those are things that I feel like everybody can relate to at some point. So I feel like this is something for different kinds of audiences. What were your biggest roadblocks as you approached the story and trying to figure out how to tell it?
Do you want to take that?
So I think we had there's two separate parts to the film. One is set in school, and we shot in 3 different schools, and coordinating how to get a hold of a high school it's very much willing to take a chance on young filmmakers to shoot there was a challenge. But we also had a family home, and we wanted to be very authentic to what we were trying to tell, both in school, the American school, and the Iranian family home, and make sure the set and the locations were as real as possible. You were very much like, we're going to do it real or we're not going to do it at all, which honestly held me and your entire team up to a higher standard than I usually see on student film sets. And I think that you could really tell in the film itself, like every single wide, you're like, yeah, you are at this location. It feels real. It feels gritty. Like all the details are there. And it helped the performances too. I think it really brought a lot to the screen that has been complimented and recognized. So, yeah.
I think also on us, sort of in terms of what the ask is and sort of casting and sort of whatnot, like we had sort of half of the movie set where we had 2 child actors that needed to know a little bit of trumpet, but not a lot. So we had one element of the story where we needed to train 2 actors to learn a little bit of the trumpet. And then we had the other half of the story where we needed to cast a family of Iranian passing actors. So I think one sort of unknown when we were going into the story was, on paper, we can do anything, but really the stars have to align in order for us to kind of show it as a film. And so I think we got very lucky with the cast that we had, and especially we filmed it in LA, and LA has the largest Iranian population outside of Iran. So I think this was really the only place that sort of at the current level that we're at, we could have sort of accomplished this. And, we're just, I think we take it for granted now that it's just a movie that you could watch. But, getting to that point, so many things had to go kind of right.
It's so important, though, to tell underrepresented stories. And so thank you for making that.
Yeah, thank you.
What are your plans after this? And are you going to specifically be also targeting this to screen with Iranian audiences?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's such a large Iranian population in LA and sort of other parts of the United States and Canada and whatnot. And so even privately, we've had like sort of private screenings at like local like Iranian language schools, and that's sort of been a great experience where we've been able to actually sort of tap into that population of people that really sort of young Iranians, which the movie, because of so much out of my own experience, is kind of made for, and that's sort of how we've been trying to connect with that community. But in terms of like sort of what we're doing next, like, so I grew up in Chicago, and so again, like, I like to tell stories that to some degree, I think, a lot of people, when they make their first film, they make it in a place that has some emotional resonance to them. So going forward into a first feature, I'd probably be setting it in Chicago, and so I'm sort of developing something to then shoot sort of in my hometown.
Thank you. It sounds like this has so many authentic parts, and I think that's what really makes a great story. So as we wrap up, I just wanted to ask if there's any advice that you guys have to anyone out there who's trying to tell a story with so many personal elements and isn't sure how to start.
When we started to make this film, I was very clear that I wanted to make this because not only would it like strengthen us as filmmakers to make a film that we really believed in, but also it's sometimes you want to make a film to explore something within yourself.
I love that.
There's a lot of films that you could explore, other people's stories, but when you go inward, it's really scary. But if you have the bravery to do it, you'll know yourself better, and there is a certain confidence you can carry forwards into any other project in the future. Because you made this film, no matter how it turned out, no matter whether you feel the film itself was everything you wanted it to be or not, it still like changes something within you to go through that.
Right.
Yeah, I think you should get a great producer that kicks your butt and tells you to go, further than you feel comfortable with, and makes the movie all the better in doing so. Yeah.
Sounds like you guys are a dynamic team. Thank you so much for being with us.